The past year or two may have been one of my hardest years for myself. Just a culmination of things has made life harder than it's been for me for a while, but nothing compares to the 11 or 12 years ago with addictions, you know, and quitting drinking and not really having a place to stay and so forth, okay? So to set the context, I just wanted you to know my challenges are different from yours, and I would never want to think that they're more, you know, because you guys are pounding the pavement way more than me out there, and you're the heroes for that. I just want to give you perspective because it helps you be grateful for where we are, and it helps you kind of be like, you know, if you have a family, your children, their children, things are going to get way better because it's just a blip on the map. Okay, so if I were to work backwards, one of the worst times that we went through was World War II. Actually, my mom experienced that, fleeing Germany, and it's one of the reasons my mom has so much grit. She's like, I didn't know any better. I heard bombs. We had to get out of that part of Germany and sneak out with my family, and just the crazy stuff that World War II produced, which means economic hardship, all those problems. Working backwards, right? There was a Spanish flu. Actually, now it looks like some of the data showing this could be a little bit worse, but not with deaths, not necessarily per capita. There was inflation in India and China. I forget which year that was, and that produced famine in India and China. The Napoleonic Wars, we're going back now, were destructive. Many, many deaths, many hardships, and destruction. Going back further, the War of the Spanish Succession was one of the worst. And then going back further, close to the 1500s, the 30-Year War and the Ming Dynasty. And then lastly, there was something in the 16th century, I want to call it, well, they called it the Great Pestilence. Let me just explain what was happening then. People's ears and their noses, there was just blood shooting out. And they would turn yellow, like jaundice, and that killed the most people. So, I'm not trying to bring you down. All I want to do is kind of explain perspective. To give you perspective, again, in burnout, take a look at what's occurring right now in other countries and with marginalized communities. I just want you guys to be safe because in certain areas, folks don't have the same resources, and they're getting bumped from behind in the car, and they're getting out and getting hijacked. You know, like precious metals are more important than ever right now for chips and stuff like titanium and rhodium and things that go in technology. So people are like going under cars. Again, they're engaging in what they feel they have to do to survive. We can get over all this stuff. We can bring out the best in people. People are like cutting out the catalytic converters. They're cutting them out and then sell them. And they get a lot of money for it because it's used for technology. All right? If one person walked away from this little discussion I'm having and took the 5 behavior analytic principles that are in the book and applied them, and I wanted to give you another example of how I'm doing this through my struggle, because then maybe that helps you get ideas. The first part is important, pinpointing. When you pinpoint things, a larger goal for yourself, it helps you find your purpose. Now listen, every time things get tough, when they get really, really tough for you in this chaotic environment and the burnout that's occurring day to day, go back, and I know I say this a lot, but it's important, look at your why. List your freaking reasons for doing what you're doing. One of them is my family, right? But list your reasons. You may even put them in your grateful journal, because there was a quote by Nietzsche, and if I'm saying his name right, it's, he who has a reason can get through any how. So you'll figure out the how and the struggle when you remind yourself of the reason you're doing it. For me, of course, it's my family as number one, like my daughter and Justin and some other family members and my mom. Number two, we're serving thousands of people. You know, like, look at that. I mean, across the country, we're serving thousands of people. Give yourself a hand for that. I mean, it's incredible. Again, when I go on BDA Culture and I see, or someone's personal page, which I don't get to do that too much anymore, but I see someone bought a house for their family, or they like were able to buy a car, or whatever it is that helps their family, it still to this day gives me goosebumps. Just goal setting to work through these chaotic times and the burnout. Just set baby mini goals. For me, when I was at my worst, I wasn't that good at it, but I almost never will cancel a meeting. I keep showing up late and I'm working on it. But what I do as a goal, I force something on my calendar that's uncomfortable. And then I go into the uncomfortable. I have that meeting. Try to have it in person. One of the ways that I set goals is I put them on a shared Google document. You guys may be able to do some of this with your teams or through GroupMe. I see you do it. I put things on a shared Google document, and the leaders that report to me, we put in there our actions, who's assigned to it, and that's a discriminative stimulus to get it done. Law number 3. Again, these aren't laws invented by me or Paulie. It's just they're just science principles. The self-monitoring report out. So what I do to get through these tough times is I monitor things like on that document. I want the leaders to hold me accountable. So I report out on what I'm doing, and they do too. You can do this with your small teams. If you're building a team of CAs and other folks, you're always a leader. It could be your family. I've done that with my family, and you're trying to get them through something. They self-monitor, and then just the fact that they have to report it out to you matters. Number 4, the reciprocal feedback. Like, there's nothing probably more important than that. Here's what's most important: unemotional feedback. When you're gathering this feedback on your own behavior after you self-monitored and reported out, what you really have to do is ask a lot of questions to get the feedback. You know, not everyone's comfortable giving it, especially to me. And I don't know why. I love meeting with people and hearing what I got to do better. I mean, it's not that it doesn't sting once in a while. It does, because it hits a nerve, and they're right. And then the 5th being the pay for performance. I already told you, it makes it all worth it when I see the things that are occurring, when I hear a testimonial from a parent, when I hear a testimonial from one of you guys about how you help people, including yourself. The pay for performance is like when Julie Vargas called me to tell me that what we're doing is similar to what her father's vision was, which was applying it, extrapolating the science to other areas, not just autism. And I just want to explain to you, think about, I write this shit down and I make a grateful journal. I get a LinkedIn message directly, and someone's, again, I focus on these because 99% of my day is problems. And then I get a LinkedIn message where someone says, I saw this video or a post from, Jessica Kreppel on Instagram, and it made me decide to study the science. Because the science is so powerful. I live and breathe it.